I'm Amanda, and I love technology and the internet. And I might not go so far as to say that I'm obsessed or addicted. Okay, but I might be addicted, but not in the kind where you need to send me to a techie detox camp or perform an intervention. But the internet may be my favorite invention of my lifetime, closely followed by my cell phone. Don't lie, you know you love your cell phones. And we have a recurring fear and paranoia of like, what happens if this breaks? Now, we've gotten better and can download and re-upload all our information, and we get a new phone. But why do I always get a new phone? Why can't we fix the old phone? So my dad is unbelievably talented, and he can fix or repair anything. Like, it's ridiculous. He's 67, and this year on his Christmas list requested a subscription to Make Magazine. So, for those of you who don't know, Make Magazine is a kind of a do-it-yourself hacker in a MacGyver sense, not in a computer hacker sense. Hacker kind of do-it-yourself solutions magazine for everything from wax sculpting to welding, which is totally my dad. Not the wax sculpting part, the welding part, and the do-it-yourself solutions. So, Dad is fantastic. He's mechanically inclined, artistically gifted, and just all around amazing. His wealth of knowledge is incredible. So growing up, my dad was quite the handy guy. My dad, Johnny, as he's well known, can fix anything, like I said. And so the photos that you're about to see show a natural progression of what I like to call the Johnny uniform. So it starts out with a red or blue bandana, and red or blue just because, not because he was a Blood or a Crip. It was Amish country, not a lot of gangbangers. So there's Johnny. Yeah, a little scruffy. He was like a hipster before there were hipsters. So the bandana, followed by the overalls, and then the culminating factor was a white tank top. So growing up, we knew that when my dad was in his fancy ensemble that he was getting ready to fix things, kind of getting down to business. Now, I didn't grow up with any sisters. I only had 3 older brothers, and they weren't exactly the protective kinds. So I grew up with a healthy sense of independence, of natural curiosity, and a really sweet right cross. So as I've gotten older, I've taken my natural curiosity and opted for continual education. First through traditional collegiate schooling, and then later through non-traditional, non-collegiate schooling. And with my independence and autonomy, I've kind of taken it upon myself to learn how to manage things and fix things. And I'm sad that this does not apply to technology, because let's face it, we rely so heavily on technology for everything, from information to automobiles. Like, I get mad every time someone drops a phone book off at my house. I'm like, really? Who still uses a phone book? Nobody uses the yellow pages. You're killing recycled trees or something. So in the same sense, you no longer tinker with your car. You take it to a mechanic, they hook it up to a computer and run a diagnostic. So, nevertheless, technology has made our lives infinitely better, made it easier and faster, and I love this. As I said, I kind of have an unhealthy relationship with my cell phone. I'm okay with that. But at this point, it's safe to assume that I'm a far cry from a Luddite. But every now and then, I can't help but wonder, what would we do without technology? Seriously, what would you do without technology? Like, how much of your day, how much of your job revolves around technology, the internet, emails? So, thinking about this, I decided that even though I have a fancy pants education, multiple educations, my dad, who has never gone to college, is only occasionally online. I feel like he's so much smarter for all the things that he knows how to do. And so, even though I can do a spreadsheet and run some numbers, I find it slightly depressing that I don't know how to change my own oil, and I have very little understanding of how things work. So I did a quick assessment of the skills that I think that I do have. It was managing projects, some deadlines, data analysis, vendor relations. Do you know how useful those skills will be in helping me survive a zombie apocalypse? Yeah, You just wait until I manage those zombies' expectations and tell them their apocalypse is coming 2 days early. Then what? Yeah, so basically I decided I don't actually know how to do much of anything. So I decided maybe I should start learning how to do some things. So I decided to start taking some more classes, try and get some more hard skills that would help me in real life as opposed to the soft skills that I kind of already have. And so in taking classes, I decided I would cover everything from technology, like web design, and then trade-related, kind of like welding, and then some not-so-trade-related, like boxing and archery, just for ha-has. So along the way, I started a blog documenting my learning journey, Jill of some trades, because let's face it, all trades is just way too ambitious. So as you see here in my logo, non-traditional tools. As we well know, the tools on a Swiss Army knife aren't really made for everyday use. And so in a similar respect, I've kind of taken that with my classes, and I'm not looking to master a skill. I don't have the focus for that. It's not happening. Rather, I like the idea of having some knowledge and having some use of, maybe this will pop up and be useful in a pinch. Who knows? So I've basically gone taking random classes at random places, because ultimately I wanted to know that if I end up like Will Smith in a zombie movie, complete with my dog Lola, that I will know how to MacGyver some things together, shoot some undead with bullets or arrows, and then make a mean frittata for brunch. Listen, people, food is important for survival, and nobody said it had to be gross. So it's been about a year or so since I started my learning journey, and in looking back at kind of what I've accomplished, even though there's still a really long list of things I would like to learn, in looking back, I've found that each time I take a new class and each time I learn something new, something inside of me changes. And so how I see things changes, how I see problems changes, how I see solutions changes. I tend to look at things from a different angle, and I see things in a different light. And ultimately, I see myself in a different light. Once a shining example of undiagnosed ADHD, I can now focus on a task for more than 3 minutes. And sometimes, I can even complete a project. Yeah, Mom, you hear that? I can complete a project. Thanks. I muscled my way through sewing to complete an apron, albeit with some really questionable stitching. I managed a weekend-long class that resulted in me getting my motorcycle license. And on the home improvement front, when my garbage disposal went on the fritz yet again, instead of my initial inclination, which was to buy a new one and hire someone else to install it, I hopped on Google, found a very useful YouTube video, and then fixed the problem all by myself. Thank you very much. So technology and trade can actually be friends. They don't have to be opposing. They should go together, really, when you think about it. And so although I'm not exactly Plumber Amanda at this point, I will wait an extra day or two before I call in the professionals, and I'll peruse the internet first for a solution that maybe I can implement myself. I'm even willing to tackle projects involving electricity despite my recurring fear of electrocuting myself. And even though electricity makes me nervous, I feel more comfortable and more capable each time I take on little tasks that maybe I'll take on some bigger tasks. So the cool thing in all of this for me and looking back is seeing how my skills, questionable as they are starting to span a broad range of activities and not just focused on one. And so being able to see how some of these skills work well with each other, and not just the ones like shooting, where it's obvious that shooting bow and arrow and shooting guns go together, but like knitting can kind of help with fly casting and tying lines. So I really am kind of becoming a Jill of some trades. And although my manual skills don't exactly rival my dad's, I like that they're kind of different and that they involve technology and trades. And I like adding new tools to my Swiss Army knife of life. So what tools are you going to add to yours? Besides the corkscrew, okay? Yeah, because I got that. But maybe you want to add a ninja because you always wanted to learn martial arts, or you want to add a spatula because you always wanted to learn how to cook. So you need to keep adding and adding more tools because you never know. I mean, when are you going to need a pair of wire cutters? Speaking of, does anyone know how to hotwire a car? Because that's really high on my list. Thanks.